so proud to be Haitian because just everything about being Haitian is just awesome.
Everyone know about the history of Haiti, first Black independent country in 1804.
Understanding the history of Haiti, Haitian people, you can't help but be proud of the accomplishment that have happened.
Haitian Americans have done really well in the past few years. There's still a lot more work to be done. Only about 20% of us actually have a bachelor's degree.
I understand firsthand some of the challenges that Haitian American students, graduates, and professionals have faced.
Some of them have overcome incredible adversity.
Both immigrated or asylum seekers or refugees.
There are not that many Haitian-focused scholarships, but like any other award, the NAHP Leadership Award is providing recognition for one's hard work.
As we know, college is expensive, so this scholarship fund provides the chance for a brighter future.
It felt like the universe was speaking, like I needed the money, I was intrigued, people were telling me to apply.
Going to college or graduate school can be very, very expensive. So donating to a scholarship like this would help that expense be more manageable.
Future generation of leaders, scholars, entrepreneurs,
young adults that are trying to make something of their lives.
They are rock stars. They just need the help, and they need us to help them accomplish it.
There's like this Haitian proverb that says, "Mais en pile chat palu," many hands make the load lighter.
Log in and you can donate $10, $25, $50.
It makes me think of the Malcolm X quote that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It makes me happy to know that our organization is contributing to that goal, preparing others for the future.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Philippe Hyppolite. I am a member of NAP, NAAHP, which stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. And tonight I'm joined by Patricia Elizee, who is a managing partner at Elizee Law Firm, Betsy Constant, who is an immigration specialist and the founder and owner of Targeted Case Solutions Immigration Paralegal Services, and as well as by Melissa Lucien, who is a CEO and founder of Mel in Spirit LLC, which is a multifaceted company offering motivational speeches to youth, empowering mentoring program, and translation services. Tonight, our partners are Chocorella, Book It Right Accountancy, and College Cafe. So tonight, this symposium is going to be on Haitians living abroad. So everybody, what we're gonna do is everybody's gonna talk about their specific experiences, what they feel that how Haitians can integrate into a community, the culture. What can we do to better assimilate where we are and have more of a voice in our community? So to begin, I'm just going to present NAP really quick and then each of my guests will present their company and services, their organization and services. So NAP is an organization that was founded in 2011. We're a nonprofit organization established by a diverse group of forward-thinking industry experts, youth leaders, faculty and public and nonprofit sectors, global professionals who are dedicated to seeing professional advancement in Haiti and its diaspora. So what NAP tries to do is connect professionals with career advancement resources, as well as fostering transformative relationships between NAP members and committed stakeholders for the purpose of rebuilding Haiti through catalytic philanthropy and social entrepreneurship. So the purpose of the symposium tonight, like I said, is we know Haitian people are a group of resilient people. And we go through a lot of adversities, but we still manage to be here. We still rise, and it's not easy. And as you have may seen the past few days, some of the things that's been reported on the news, Haitians have been going through a lot of adversity, whether natural disasters or political instability in their own country, or in our own country, and it's a lot to take in. It seems like we can never pass a trauma. As soon as we're done with one, well, as soon as we think we're done with one, here comes another one, and it's hard. It's really hard when you hear people ask you, "Wait, what's going on in your country? How do you feel about this?" Well, you don't always have an answer for that, and but somehow we still make it. Somehow we're still here, and we're gonna continue being here. So with that said, I'm gonna give Patricia Elizee a chance to present her organization as well, herself and her organization.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Patricia Elizee. I'm an immigration attorney. My office is located in Miami, Florida, and we focus on helping immigrants from all over. So we help immigrants that are currently in the United States, folks that are currently in Haiti. We help folks in other states within the US, from Alaska to Georgia, etc. I don't know if you want me to just focus on the business, or if you want us to go into our background.
You can go into your background a little bit as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So I was born in Haiti. Actually came to the US when I was 9 years old. So I did all of my grade school education here. Became an attorney and was really interested in getting involved with the Haitian community. I joined the Haitian Lawyers Association, was on the board for a few years, up until I was president in 2016. I don't know what else to say. So
Thank you. Thank you. Betty?
Yes, so my name is Betty Constant, and I am the founder and owner of Targeted Case Solutions Immigration and Paralegal Services. I'm located here in Plantation, Florida. My main purpose is to help non-citizens navigate their pathway to citizenship. So I currently provide application support services. I assist clients on completing immigration applications, and I also take them through the process of educating them and giving them the knowledge that they need to move through the process of the immigration services. So giving them that hand-in-hand holding immigration services. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I am very big on the Haitian community. I travel to Haiti. I used to travel to Haiti at least once a year, but COVID happened, so I've taken a halt on traveling to Haiti from then. Other than that, I am here to be collaborative and to learn new things from everyone that's here.
All right. Thank you. And Melissa?
Well, hello, everyone who's watching or just listening. And all of you here with me, welcome and hi. I am Melissa Lucien. I am the CEO and founder of Melon Spirit LLC. I was born in Haiti. I moved here about 6 years ago. I completed most of my education there. When I came here, I attended Florida Atlantic University, where I graduated with my bachelor's in sociology. During graduation, I started working at MRA Law Group as a paralegal. It is an immigration law firm. From there, I worked my way up to become their operations manager. I was there for a little over a year. So I got to work with the Haitian community mainly because, as I said, I grew up in Haiti, and coming to the United States, I couldn't help but be part of my community continue to work with my community, give them the best that I can as an individual and as a professional. Living MRA Law Group, I started my own practice, not in law, but I started my own business. Let's put it this way. As a translator, I actually work with different companies if they need documents translated, mainly for immigration purposes. I would do that. And also, if people need help completing their applications, I would help them. But I do not work as a notary. I do not own a practice. I'm just here to serve. Recently, I started working as a humanitarian with the earthquake happening in Haiti. I traveled back to Haiti and I started the Okai Suken project, where we were able to help people in all different departments. The project is still current right now. We're still working on it. And now, with everything happening in the Haitian community, honestly, I am just trying to find ways to help. My goal is to attend law school and become an attorney, um, focusing on immigration. So being here with such amazing individual is just, to me, it's very rewarding, and it gives me hope, not just for myself, but hope that I can become to my community a pillar and continue to do the work that I am doing to provide my full support and services.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'm willing to say it's, in a way, three different perspectives that we have here. So, Melissa, you came to the States, you said 6 years ago.
Yes.
So you were born and grew up. You were born and you grew up completely in Haiti.
Yes.
All right. And Betty, you were born in the States.
Yes.
And Patricia, you left Haiti when you were 9.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So I'm somewhere in between. But so I wanna know what your perspective is on that. So the fact that each of you were you were either born or you came to the States at a different age. How has that inspired you to get into the line of work that you're doing now? Patricia, I want to start with you.
Sure. So, as being born in Haiti and being educated from a Haitian household, education was always very important to me and to my family. So it was never a question of whether I was going to go to college or whether I was going to have the support of my family to get these opportunities. I went to University of Miami for undergrad. I have a double major in public relations and international studies and a minor in marketing and in French. When I was at UM, I took a class, law in the media course, which really intrigued me and sparked an interest in the law. So I took other courses, which led me to studying for the LSAT and going to law school. As a Haitian family, your daughter wants to go to law school. I got all the support I needed. I told my mom, especially, I was thinking about going to law school, and the next day, our entire family knew I was going to be an attorney, right? Like, she didn't. It was just, okay, that's a thought. I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to support you 110% to make sure that you get there. And I did, with the help of my family. Law school wasn't easy. It's tough. It's a lot of hard work. There aren't a lot of Haitians. There aren't a lot of people who look like us. But it was worth it. It was worth the fight. And I'm happy that I went through that. Sitting through the bar and becoming an attorney. Once I became an attorney, I wanted to right away get involved with the community. I don't know. I think it's something about the way that we're brought up is to always just look out for each other and to be active with our own people. I know that sounds a little strange if you're not, if you're an outsider listening a little bit, but I think it comes from our sense of pride, right? So pride of ourselves, pride of our culture, pride of our families. As soon as I became a professional, I wanted to make sure that I focused and gave back to my own community first before I expanded.
All right. Thank you. And Betty, is your experience different than that, or what inspired you?
So my parents inspired me. I grew up in Little Haiti in Miami. So I'm pretty much, I would say, you know, I wasn't born in Haiti, but I really grew up in a Haitian household that did not speak English. I was in elementary school, you know, reading off papers to my parents, helping them out. We visit Haiti like at least twice a year. So we were always in Haiti. All my summers, all my Christmas vacations always spent in Haiti. I grew interest because of having parents who were illiterate. So I wanted to also be the one to raise up my family's image, you know, be the one to actually succeed. So I have a family and siblings of 10. So I am the first one and the last child, last born, who actually graduated and succeeded. I completed my master's degrees in criminal justice. I have about 13 years of experience of social services work. Immigration grew and attached to me because I had a couple of cases where I had foster children that had immigration issues, and those parents were from Haiti, and them not understanding social services, them not understanding the justice system. They couldn't read, they couldn't understand. I went to deep diving into finding out what immigration was requesting, what are the documents that they need. I have had a case where a mother came in, they took away her child. She didn't know what was going on. Her family members took away her green card, so she didn't have any identification. She was lost. The court system that I worked for at the time did not know anything about immigration. So again, I started to dig deep, and then my parents also helped my parents apply for their other adult children from Haiti. So from that, I just got engaged in immigration. I always love to help out the Haitian community because I like to educate them and to let them know we're here, we're going here, and then all the information and things that immigration asks them versus they're getting an immigration letter and they're scared and they're worried. And I try to be the one to provide all the services so that way that fear, and that they also get educated to let them know that it's okay, that you can trust immigration, you can trust the services. Everyone's not always out to deport you. So that's how my interest in immigration actually grew.
All right, thank you. And Melissa, so you basically grew up in Haiti. You grew up in Haiti. So what was your experience growing up? And what did you find here that you possibly maybe you had an idea of what the U.S. would be, and that's not what you found? If you can go into that, if that.
Case, I mean. Well, it's a very heavy question because there is just a lot that had happened.
Okay.
That's been happening actually. When I was growing up in Haiti, I always knew I wanted to be an attorney. What kind of law I wanted to practice, this was never a question, because in Haiti, if you're an attorney, you're an attorney. There's not really such a thing as, different kind of attorneys. So I knew I wanted to be an attorney, but I wasn't sure what branch yet. When I left Haiti, I had to make a decision because I was living where this was my home. I left my parents there, my friends, and I was coming to a country that was, yes, I visited the United States as a tourist, but I knew that it was going to be a totally different thing when I came here to live here as a resident. Now, when I came here, I encountered a lot of medical doctors, and I am extremely grateful for all of them, and they were amazing mentors. I actually decided to go into medical school. So I was a pre-med major. I started studying biology, and I knew deep down in my heart that that's not what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an attorney, but with my family, our background, that wasn't a question. The thing was, I'm going to medical school no matter what. After actually the beginning of my senior year in college, that's when I decided, I said, God wants me to be an attorney. I'm a very strong believer, and I think when God wants you to do something, He's gonna show you His way, and He's gonna give you signs. So I prayed about it, and I ended up getting the signs that I needed. And unlike the other ladies, I went against my parents' belief and against what they wanted, and I decided to pursue my passion, which was law. I made that decision December 14th, 2019. January 7th, 2020, that's when I got an interview at a law firm. I will tell you, I had no experience whatsoever. I had no background in law. Again, I was supposed to go to medical school. So I was preparing everything for the MCAT. And here I am as a senior, my last semester, walking into an interview at a law firm. Thankfully, the attorney there, Mariana Rossi, forever grateful for her, she told me, and I would never forget, she asked me, do you have any experience? I said, no. She said, do you know anything about law? I said, no. And she asked me, then what can you bring to the table? Like, what are you willing to do? Where is this going? And I told her, I said, well, I can promise you I'm willing to learn. I will learn to the best of my ability, and I will come back and give back. So this is not just I'm learning and taking it. It's an investment, and I'm going to give back to my community and help to the best of my ability. And I'm forever grateful that she gave me that chance, because this is where I fell in love with immigration law. Because at first it was more like criminal law, corporate law, and all this beautiful stuff. But when I started working as a paralegal, I then became the head law clerk and then the operations manager. I got to work so closely with these clients. I heard their stories, and I remember having emotional breakdowns in my office because of what they had been through. So now I was in a situation where I already have a lot of family drama going on, and now I have to be there for these people. And what I found is a lot of time, these people, they might know that their situation is complicated. They might know that they are in serious trouble, but just talking to you and you being compassionate to them, it gives them hope. It gives them this feeling that, okay, at least I know somebody has my back, and this is what I wanted to do for these people. This is who I was to a lot of them. And from there, I said, you know what? There's no way out of it. I have to become an immigration attorney, and I'm gonna do it. What? I left MRA to prepare for the LSAT. So right now I'm actually preparing for the LSAT, and it's a lot because I have to break that tie where, yes, I want to be there for my community. Yes, I want to keep on working, and I want to go back and give back, but I also have to keep on working and studying in order, because once you have more, you give more. Once you have more, you're able to give more. So I want to go and get more so I can go back and give more. And this is how I just fell into the life of immigration, and I don't think there's any way to get me out of it.
All right. Each experience different, but there's still something in common in all of it. My next question is for Patricia. Do you feel that your experience does it help you better connect with the population that you're serving, or do you feel that sometimes it hinders you, or it might be a crutch, or how does that work?
So at our firm, we do have a good number of Haitian clients, and we have different kinds of Haitian clients, right? We have Haitian clients that have been here for a while. We have Haitian clients that are still in Haiti. We have Haitian clients from different, walks of life. So with me and we also have clients that are not Haitian at all. We have clients from Europe, we have clients from South America. So I would say, being Haitian period helps me connect with the people I'm serving because I can speak to them in the same language. I can understand some of their apprehensions about, giving documents or some of the process. I could kind of walk them through it. If they don't, I've also noticed, for example, if I'm helping a client, they have an elderly parent who's Haitian, they're more, they'll open up a little bit more to me personally than they would to a staff member that is not Creole speaking or Haitian.
Okay.
So it's definitely an advantage to be Haitian when you're dealing with your Haitian community. And just being an immigrant helps us just connect. So most of the people, I would say, actually everyone who works at my firm is an immigrant. I didn't seek them out, but it kind of just happened like that in South Florida. I have someone working for me that is Dominican. I have someone working for me that's from Poland. I have someone who's working for me that's, where is she from? I think her background is Cuban. So the staff being made up of all immigrants also just helps them connect with our clients because they've also gone through the process or a family member has gone through the process. So that's definitely beneficial to us.
What about you, Betty? Being the fact that you grew up in Little Haiti, around majority Haitians, if not all Haitians, how has that helped you connect with the community?
All Haitians. I actually went to Toussaint Louverture Elementary, the Haitian school that there is in Miami. So I grew up around Haitians. The teachers spoke Creole.
Wow.
The staff members spoke Creole. Everywhere I went, it was Creole. My dad was big into politics, so we would have to go to the refugee center. I mean, immigration has been around my life all over, like from the time that I was young up until now. I've have siblings that were living in Haiti and they migrated here, so everyone left their loved ones behind. So I helped them petition for their spouses to come here. I helped them petition for children. I've even had my own personal share of immigration policies as well as myself, as far as applications. So I'm very well versed as far as immigration is concerned. I try to get with my clients and to have that personal connection with them. Like I'll reveal to them and let them know that I've also gone through the immigration process, and to give them that experience makes them very much comfortable to work with me, to tell me what's going on. So in that way, they're not holding or withholding information. Then that way I can effectively assist them through their immigration process.
Okay, understood. All right, thank you. And Melissa, pre-COVID, I don't know if COVID has stopped you. Do you still go back to Haiti often, or?
I do still go back to Haiti. I was in Haiti December 2020 in the middle of COVID. I did follow all the guidelines, I promise. And then I just came back from Haiti actually about 2 weeks ago, because I was there for 2 weeks providing humanitarian aid.
Okay. All right. So the next portion of the symposium that we're gonna go into, and definitely you guys know this more than me, is Haitians immersion and integration. And so before we go into that, we all have seen the news. We all know what's been going on lately. If I would like for each of you guys to give your perspective. So basically, it's your opinion. It doesn't hurt to give your opinion. And before I do that, I'll start off, because for me, the scenes that we've all watched have been horrible. I have a friend of mine who even said to me, "It seems like we're back in slavery times," and it's difficult to watch. And I know I know what this population is doing coming in. It's not the best way. It's not the legal way, but it's also not illegal to seek asylum. But one thing that I noticed that I'm not gonna say that's missing from the news because I've been watching on and off. Most of the people that are trying to come in right now, they're not from the recent earthquake. They didn't leave Haiti because of the president being murdered or the earthquake down in the south. It's most of these people coming in right now are people who were in South America, Brazil or Chile. And I spent 8 years working in Brazil, working with Haitians. And first of all, Haitians coming into Brazil, they would tell me the routes that they took. A lot of people, they said they would go through forests, the Amazon and stuff, and some people didn't make it out. The people who made it there are the lucky ones. So imagine, it's hard to see that somebody went through all of that and then they decided to take the route back north, knowing exactly what they're gonna find, but making it all the way here. I mean, that's courage. That's a lot. But and then to be received like this, it really hurts. But from me working with Haitians in Brazil, one thing is that I know that Brazil and Chile was never their last stop. It was a springboard for them. And in Brazil, believe it or not, as much as Brazil is diverse, Brazil is also very racist. And from what I understand, Chile is worse. And it's a lot to go through. And what they used to tell me is that they come here to try to help their family. So Haitians always have this thing helping, like you guys said, helping one another, and Haitians sending money back to Haiti is the biggest part of our economy. So no matter what they had to do, they would do it. They we would go into any type of work to make a living. So this is also to say Haitians are not lazy. It's not that we don't want to work. It's not that we just want to leave the country, but the country doesn't offer a lot, if anything at all. And I've even met students who told me, I I'm here. Well, I met this student in Sao Paulo, and this is a few years ago, and he said to me, "What's the reason for me going back? Because I'm here, I'm studying, and I know I can find a job here, and I can help my family back home, and I can probably help my brother come in so he can study as well. So why would I go back?" And so no matter what, and it's not just Haitians, everybody, we're just trying to find a better way of life, something that we put into work and we're able to live at least comfortably. And this is one of the reasons to me that no matter what it takes, knowing all the dangers in the road, and walking near snakes or crossing rivers, no matter what it is, they will do it just to make sure they get a better life. So if any of you guys want to give your opinion or your perspective on it, I'm happy to listen. Anyone who wants to start? I'll go like this instead. Okay.
Well, I'll echo you because I currently work with a lot of clients who come in, and the majority of my cases are asylums. And asylums, especially, these are clients that are coming from Brazil, Mexico, and Chile. And I've heard the stories of how they come in and what they have to go through. And they're telling me that they have gone to like 10 to 15 countries just to get here, and how they're sleeping in forests and, you know, trying to find food. And a lot of the other people that come with them, just like you said, does not make it. You know, it's very touching to see that, you know, these individuals go through so much just to get here, because, you know, they say United States is a land of freedom, and this is where they want to come to, you know, find an avenue to work, to do something, to be better, you know. And exactly what they said, the ultimate goal is to give back, to send money back to home to their families, to take care of their families, and to possibly, you know, gain some type of residency here one day in the country to, you know, migrate their family. So I've had the same experience with majority of my clients as well.
I'll speak on this. So I think that we have to understand that this is a very, very complicated situation. It's very upsetting. It's very, very upsetting for so many reasons to see our people being so desperate and to being in such a really bad situation. It's very sad and it's upsetting. I encourage everyone to read as many newspaper articles as possible and to educate themselves on the situation, because some of the information that's floating around is incorrect. You're right. The majority of the folks that are currently, I'm not saying all, I'm saying the majority of the folks that are currently at the border are not coming directly from Haiti. So as you know, after the 2010 earthquake, right, Brazil was open to Haitians. Why? Because they needed low-wage workers, because they were getting ready for the Olympics.
And the World Cup.
And what happened after that? You know, the Olympics came and went. They didn't need us anymore. Their economy started tanking, you know, and so now we're not welcome anymore. Chile was open for similar reasons. They needed low-wage workers, but they're not willing to give us papers to stay long-term. And things are getting tougher for us. And, you know, we are experiencing a lot of discrimination. A lot of people that I speak to are coming to me and saying, you know, I'm looking for a better life, which is everyone's right to have a better life, right? So having an opportunity is what we all want so that we can work and we can get to the next level. But unfortunately, the way that the law is set up, the United States law does not allow people to come in through its borders without the proper documentation because of economic hardship or because they're looking for a better life. And there's all these rumors that push people to try to come in without papers because, well, so-and-so told me if I tell them that I'm looking for a job, they'll let me in and then they'll give me this. Or so-and-so told me that, you know, if I come in with a family, with children, that they'll allow me in. There's all of this misinformation that's flowing about asylum and refugees and whether they're going to, you know, how you can get in, and the fact that there's a pathway to a citizenship or a green card, or, you know, TPS is there for everyone now. That's not the case. So between the economic situations for us in South America getting worse and worse, and all of these rumors of the borders being open under Biden created this huge influx that's been building now for a few months, if not years. So I'm saying all of this not to say that they shouldn't have a chance, because they need a chance. You know, they need a chance to make it and to survive and to plead their case. But unfortunately, the way that the law is set up, they don't necessarily qualify for it. And there's a section in the law that says, hey, if you got a temporary status in another country, or if you resettled in another country, you're not going to qualify for asylum, right? But they don't speak to an attorney. They don't understand what the law says. So because of the fact that they spent so much time in a third country and possibly resettled, their chances of asylum really almost disappears. It's a very, very complicated legal situation, and it's a huge humanitarian crisis. And to be honest, I don't know what the solution is. It's just really sad and overwhelming to see so many of us having to go through that right now, because Haiti is just so bad, and where we're going to third countries don't want to keep us anymore. So what are we to do?
If I may, what Attorney Patricia just said resonated with me so much. If you follow me on any social media, you will see that I have been calling people to please do your research, educate yourself, read about the topic, read about asylum. How do you qualify? Because a lot of people are coming here with the intention that just because Haiti is bad, I can come in. But like Attorney Patricia said, it doesn't work like that. One thing I know a lot of people are doing is reaching out to congressmen, congresswomen, state representatives. And I myself worked on an email that we drafted, me and a friend, because I remember she asked me for help about the email. And in the email, they were saying that, oh, they need to make a way for these people to get asylum. And one thing I explained to them is, if you don't qualify, you do not qualify. There's no way to make you qualify. And again, we cannot go against the law. And one thing I call people to do is, once you know the law, then you can maybe analyze it and find ways to use it in your advantage instead of against you. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on the topic, and as what's happening is they are seeking asylum as an individual. But what we need is something that will help us as a people. Because I went to Haiti about a month ago. When I got there, for me to drive from Port-au-Prince to get to Pokai, there was a part of the road you all have probably heard about Matissa, where it was empty. When I say empty, there was no one on the street because gang leaders took over this entire area. Whoever lived in that area had to leave their home. They're homeless. Somebody like this, you come to me, yes, you deserve for somebody to try to fight for you. You deserve for somebody to try to help you. But how are we gonna help you? And I think one thing I put in the email is, for these representatives, for the leaders, for the congressmen, congresswomen, try to find another pathway. How can we help not just one individual, but us as a people, and help Haiti as well? Because what is going on is, as a diaspora, yes, we are sending money back. Yes, we're coming here to help individual families, but the country is not getting any better, meaning the migration is going to keep on happening. Now, the true question is, if the United States wants to help, how are they going to help these individuals, but also help the country, so that we don't just help these few people, and then when we get a lot more people, then we have the same issue again. Now, we have to think about, how are we going to help Haiti so that the people living there have a chance at life? Not even a chance to have a luxurious life. No, just a chance to live a life where you are comfortable. You don't fear for your life. So then we can start having a conversation about, how is the country going to be beneficial to them, beneficial to the United States? Because now it's a problem for Haitians. It's a problem for the United States. And it's a problem for us as a human race. Because we have people here, and I actually saw a post from Chris Brown saying, all the millionaires, if they just started helping, we could be able to help the people at the border. You're helping the people at the border. Yes, I agree. Definitely help them. But what's going on with the people at home who are going to start migrating too now, because they deserve a chance too. Every single person deserves a chance. But how do you make it an opportunity, not just for one person, but for us as a community?
And to piggyback off of what you guys said, I mean, it's kind of different from where you guys are going, what you guys have said as well. But for me, like I said, I understand that they're not doing it the legal way, or not that not the legal way, but the proper way. But to me, the issue is really these images that we're seeing. Because if you are here illegally, or you can always be deported, right? It's not something I agree with, but I can understand. But what we've been seeing on TV, these images are horrible. It's a disgrace, and it shouldn't be happening. Not to Haitians, not to anybody else, no matter what your skin color is or where you come from. No, that should definitely not be happening. And that's where my issue is with what I've been seeing, honestly. And I know people personally who told me that they're gonna try to make the trip. I've sent them videos. I pointed them to news stories, everything. But they want to. They plan to risk it no matter what. And once that person has something like that in their mind, there's really little you can do. Hope for the best. And if there's a way that if they do get here, I can help, then I will. Again, hope for the best. Betty, I wanted to ask you a question that was raised from the audience. One of our audience members asked, what are some gems that you can share in regards to knowing your rights?
As far as we'll say, education is the first key in knowing your rights and knowing immigration laws. But of course, let's put it back on the members and the people that are at the border. They lack of that. They don't have that information. How do we, as a community, even spread that information to them? Especially, we're all talking about asylum because everyone that's there is possibly going to be trying to claim asylum. As we all know, the laws of immigration, the rules of everything else that's going on, some of them won't qualify for it. But how would they know? The only thing that they know is that someone else told them that, hey, let's take this road, let's go here, they're going to do it for us. The same way, like Attorney Patricia was saying, that a lot of them rely on this person case went this way, that way, so they know that it's going to happen to them. If they come to the border with children, they're going to let them in. So that's how I believe a lot of Haitians learn about knowledge of immigration or learn about things that are happening, and then they just piggyback on that. I can even relate to clients that I can have that I could submit the same form for two people the same day, the same time, and the other one say, well, why did they get a receipt before? Why did they get an appointment before? But they don't understand that everyone's situation and story is different. Immigration is going to handle it different. So gems that I would say is just for them to, I guess, use social media as a platform, because everyone's on social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok now. There's a lot of people that spread good immigration news and updates. And on TikTok as well, very good ones. I guess they try to get acquainted and get connected to the community to find out as much as they can as far as what are the rules and updates immigration. As we all know, immigration change weekly, monthly, very, very fast, that there's a lot of new changes and things that are changing. So if not by social media, try to get connected with other people that know, ask questions, which is a good thing. So that's the best that I can say. I mean, with the challenges that we have, it's very hard because everyone's trying to come to US because, the country of Haiti is not so well and put together that they want to stay, lack of education. Some people don't have the money to go to school to get their education, to understand, the policies and everything else that's what's going on.
All right. Thank you. Melissa, I wanted to ask you, so, I mean, with what we see happening, it puts a negative light on Haitian culture, on who we are as a people, besides the fact that we're resilient, that we're always trying to make it through. So what, how can we bring more elements of our culture to reduce or completely erase these negative connotations that everybody have of Haitian culture or Haiti?
I think the first step, we're already doing it right now. We are having these conversations. We are having Haitians, Haitian Americans, Americans who are aware enough of the different topics that we want to tackle, and having them not just convey the information to us who are here, but also the people in Haiti. You know, education is key. Knowledge is power. The more, when you know better, you do better. Our people need to understand their system. But one of the biggest issue is they are in a situation where our people are fighting to find food. They're fighting to find a place to stay. If you go to school and you're hungry, best believe you're not gonna hear what the teacher's saying. I promise you're not, because you're just thinking, when can I get home and get something to eat? But when you do not have any, like, we need to not only provide resources for the people to have a decent life, we need to educate them, because once they know better, they will start doing better. And us as the diaspora, we know better. It's on us. It's time for us to start doing better, having these conversations, holding conferences, going back to Haiti. And I know it's hard in the moment to ask people, hey, go back to Haiti right now. We honor the situation of the country. But if we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? And the more time goes by, what I am seeing is more time goes by, the worse it's getting. So the sooner we start, the better it is for us. And we have to prepare each other and prepare the people living there, so that we can start becoming the change that we want to see in the country, and not just changing the narratives, changing the life of the people there and our life as well, because then we get a home to go back to, because then we get to work with one another. So it's not always like, oh, let me just send something home. No, let me just go home, spend time with my family, and see how we can work together as a people.
All right. Thank you. Patricia, another question from the audience. The question is, what resource do you recommend people to use to help combat misinformation?
I think the most important thing is for them to look up legitimate organizations and reach out to them first. So for example, there's the American Immigration Lawyers Association. They always have updates on their website and social media. If you're following someone online, try to see if the person is licensed and actually practicing law as an attorney. If you're going to see someone with your immigration case, it's always recommended to just make sure that the person is actually an attorney, so that they can give you legal advice and kind of guide you through your case. So really, I think it's just taking a step extra to make sure that the source that you're getting the information from is legitimate. And if you're not sure where to go, for example, there's the Haitian Lawyers Association in Miami. There's a Haitian Lawyers Association in Georgia. There's one in New York, I believe, one in New Jersey. Very oftentimes, if you don't know who to turn to, you can turn to those organizations, and they can kind of give you some options as to different people to reach out to. If you don't mind, I kind of just want to add 2 cents to the previous question.
Go ahead.
Because I thought it was a really interesting topic and a little lighter. So I think it was, how do we get our image to be changed in culture or society in the US?
Yeah, be more positive and reduce all the negativity.
Honestly, I think it's going to be through food and music.
Food and music.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, how do you experience someone's culture as a foreigner? Through food, through music. Going to the restaurant, experiencing the food, sitting down, looking at the menu, discovering something new. From my experience, I haven't been to that many Haitian restaurants where it's it's always clean, it's always professional, they always have everything available. You know, it's very rare for us to see a really great Haitian restaurant that's successful and consistent. So some of my best friends are blanc blanc, like white. But like from Seattle and Portland. Well, my best friend yesterday was saying, man, I really wish I had pickles in Portland because I would love some pickles. Because she's been exposed to it. She's been to Haiti with me, but when she was in Miami, I took her to a nice Haitian restaurant, to Chef Dominique's restaurant in North Miami, Casey Healthy Cooking. We sat down, she had a great meal and she loved it and her husband loved it. So they look forward to that. If we had more of that all over the US, I think it would be a great way to change that narrative. And also with music, the guy from Power is now like doing music with Gabodai. So that's exposing, right, our culture to just the general public. So I think the answer from my perspective is through your stomach and through your ears.
I agree with that. I can definitely see that. I mean, one thing I would like to add too, is the fact that if the country was in a better shape, Haiti is a beautiful place to visit.
Of course.
I've been to, besides Saint-Hench in Haiti, I've been to every department, not every little place, but I've been to every department in Haiti. And each place has something different to offer. I remember there was one year I went from Port Salut all the way to Mont Saint Nicolas, and I had lambi at 3 or 4 different places, including Port-au-Prince. And each place had a different way to cook lambi. And lambi is my favorite thing, honestly. I know it's it is for a lot of Haitians too, but honestly, you give me lambi any day. Whether it's cooked with seawater or lambi and sauce, you got me hooked. Melissa, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that there is a lack of organization in the Haitian community?
Definitely. Most definitely. I think, again, there is this, we all want to help, but we want to help individually. And one thing about us, yes, there's a competition, I got to do this, I got to do that, but we can do way more together. This is something I experienced during the earthquake when I went back to Haiti, and I had a lot of people coming at me telling me, Melissa, why are you doing this? And I'm like, because it's the right thing to do. People need help. I'm in a position to get the resources and help. I'm going to help. And I had people telling me, well, this person came before you. You got to hurry up and come before them, because if not, then they're going to look better. So this is just to show you what the mindset is. I can organize something myself. I'm sure Patricia, attorney, can organize something herself, and every single one of us here can do that. But if we come together, this is where the issue is. This is what I think, in a way, we are definitely lacking, because the change that I can do can be 25%. If each of us do 25%, there goes 100%. And we will see that a lot of people are helping, but it's not as sustainable as it could be if we all organize something together as a people and do something about a certain situation.
Thank you. Betty, growing up in Little Haiti, do you, from your experience, do you feel that Haitians have difficulties integrating outside of their community, of the Haitian community?
From my experience, yes. It was growing up, the Haitians were very close-knit. They all stick together. They went to each other for advice. They went to each other for information. I can, based off my parents, they did not go outside or find the resources, or maybe they did not have the option. They were acquainted with the refugee center. That's on 54th Street in Miami. But at that time, I wasn't aware if they had, more information. I believe now they do. They do provide social services. They do provide more information out to the Haitian community. I'm not so much in the Haitian community now as into where I live. So I can't respond as into currently right now. But as growing up, I did not see the connection of outsiders versus getting that assistance.
Okay. Patricia, any thoughts?
I think I agree. It's we stick to ourselves. If you go to any event and there's a group of Haitians, you'll, navigate it and go straight to your peoples. So I think that could be a little hard for others.
So with that, how can we better assimilate ourselves into these other communities? How can we not depend? Because so for example, if we're just staying within ourselves, which can be a good thing, but if we're not getting the right information, we don't know what's going on outside of our own little communities. What can we do to get ourselves better entrenched in these other communities and get the right information and use the resources that are out there for us as a Haitian community?
I would say become leaders generally instead of only leaders in the Haitian community. So not being afraid to get involved in organizations where you're the only Haitian or the only Black person, learning from different communities and bringing that knowledge back to us so that we can do things better and keep growing.
And Melissa, can you say that, can we truly say that the Haitian community is achieving?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Because I think, okay, let's put it this way. I think there are a lot of individuals in the Haitian community who are achieving.
Mm-hmm.
I believe those who are achieving, or some of them, are trying. They are fighting to get us as a people to move forward and to achieve, because we can achieve better. This is one thing for a fact. If we talk about Haitians, besides their resilience, we can talk about their intelligence. We can talk about the willingness to work, hard worker. We can put all of this together. We have what it takes to achieve. Now, again, we need the resources and the different opportunities. And I think a lot of us who are achieving in the community, we're trying to bring it back. So it's a work in progress. We are slowly getting to the place where, to achieve greatness. But I think it's still a work in progress. And we need more individuals, more leaders who are willing to go back and help our brothers and sisters achieve, so then we can start achieving as a people, as a nation.
Betty, any thoughts?
I totally agree at 100%. I agree. I think it needs to start from the top, like leaders, and then it trickles down to the community. So then that way, if someone's on the bottom can tell somebody else, and then that's how the information was spread.
Yeah, because like for me, when it comes to that, just like you guys said, we have individuals. So it's more of an exception than the rule, and we need to become a team. We need to be in more positions of decision. not just being leaders in our communities, but where we can actually affect change, make change that will affect our community for the better. Because, I mean, yeah, we can be leaders in our communities, but whatever's going outside is going to affect us, and we don't have a say about it. So we need to get in the right positions. And so I want to ask Betty a question from the audience. Question is, many of the Catholic churches have established missions in schools in Haiti. Can we organize food and supplies for refugees through the church?
I'm not so versed in the Catholic community, so I would think so, because Catholic is a religion that's the most popular in Haiti. Me going and visiting Haiti, and even here, Catholic churches are majority of the bigger churches that actually, I would say their religion that is close-knit and they stick together. So I would agree that Catholic should probably be a base to give out information.
That question, now that I'm reading that, like while you were talking through it, answering it, I was reading a little bit more. I think the person wanted to ask, like, if we could get food and supplies to the refugees here through the church, which I don't know if that's even possible.
I'm not aware.
All right. There's another question from the public, from the audience that that I'm going to ask. Okay, and this question is for Patricia. What is the difference between refugee, alien, migrant, I guess somebody who has a TPS, and asylum seeker?
That's definitely a loaded question. So let's see. I'll take them in different sections. So a refugee and an asylee are very similar, right? So a refugee and an asylee, they're both experiencing some type of persecution, and they're seeking refuge from that persecution. Refugee typically is someone that is outside of the United States, and asylee is someone who's within the U.S. But if they are granted a refugee or an asylee status, then eventually they can go on to apply for a green card and have a pathway to citizenship. An alien is another word for a foreigner, an immigrant, someone who's not a U.S. citizen. So, for example, if you see that most people have an A number, that refers to their alien number for their A file, their alien file with USCIS. So it doesn't mean that you're coming from Mars. It just means that, you know, you're an immigrant and you're not yet considered to be a U.S. citizen or something like that. A migrant. So a migrant is just someone who is moving from one area of the world to the other. There are a lot of people migrating back and forth all over. Thus the word immigrant, the person who is immigrating. And TPS is temporary protective status, which you guys know is a temporary status that is given to nationals of a country that the U.S. finds are not able to handle people coming back currently. So, for example, with Haiti, after the 2010 earthquake, that's the first time they gave us temporary protective status. It's for 18 months usually. It could vary. So at one point, I think we had it for 6 months. At one point, we had it for shorter, but typically it's for 18 months. After that 18-month period, the government sits down, takes a look at your home country's condition to determine whether they're going to extend that TPS status or terminate it. And earlier this year in May, DHS made an announcement that they'll be issuing TPS again for Haitian. So it's a brand new. So TPS for Haitian, the first time was 2010. It's been renewed up until now, right? Despite President Trump's effort to kill it. And I believe it's about 50,000 people still have TPS from 2010. And they're estimating about another 100 or so thousand will qualify for the new TPS. So right now they're estimating 150,000 are going to go through the process of applying for TPS again right now. anyone who had TPS before, they can't just renew it again. They have to do it again as a brand new applicant so that they get the protection under the new program, because the old program is still being litigated and in court. So to make sure that you're under the category where it's newly issued and you're not subject to Trump's effort to terminate that TPS program, you want to make sure that you apply as a brand new applicant again. So that's temporary protected status. TPS does not give you a green card, does not give you citizenship. It's just a temporary status that you have until the US says we'll terminate it and you either go back to your home country or you go back to the status that you had prior to getting the TPS.
All right. And so somebody who has TPS, is there a pathway to citizenship or residence?
So by itself, no.
Okay.
By itself, no. But a lot of people do start with TPS, and for example, they may be granted a green card through marriage, or they may be granted a green card because they were a victim of a crime, so a U visa. But TPS by itself does not grant you a green card. The Biden administration has made efforts to create a pathway for people with TPS or DACA, but that has not happened as of now. It hasn't passed Congress. There's no change in the law.
All right. My next question is for you, Melissa. What advice would you give to disconnected Haitians, and how do we get them engaged?
Ooh, a lot of very hard questions. I would say the nicest way to put it is get engaged. You know, this is who you are. This is part of your identity. If you are Haitian or Haitian of Haitian descent, this concerns you. This should concern you. This should be something you question yourself. Like, what if, you were in that situation? Because we share the same blood. We share in a way the same identity. It's like, if I am sick and I don't feel well, the first thought is, how can I make myself feel better? And this is the feeling that I share when I see what is going on in my country, because this is me. And I guess it's because I was raised in Haiti and a lot of my friends still live there. Whatever goes on in Haiti, and my parents, of course, whatever goes on in Haiti, it just affects me personally. Like, I literally have trauma from it. And I think one way to get involved is to look for different organizations who are actually involved in the community. And I know Attorney Patricia just mentioned the Haitian Lawyers Association. If you are an attorney, you're Haitian or Haitian descent, get in touch with them. How can you be part of this conversation? You are a doctor. I know they have doctors that gather, like Haitian doctors who get together depending on the states. Find these organizations. If you want to even take this step further and you have the money for it, go to Haiti, visit, see what it is really like. Because one thing I tell people all the time, what we see in the news, what you hear from people, it is very different from what you experience when you go there. And sometimes all you need is that click. All you need is that experience to know, okay, this is it. I have to do something about it. So I am calling everybody, please. This is our home. This is our country. This is our history. The same pride that you get on January 1st when you're drinking that soup joumou, the same pride you get on May 18th when you're waving that flag, the same pride that you have to say we are the first Black republic, we have the United States, use that same pride and that same strength and power to go back and say, you know what, this is my home. I want to be part of this. Because then, who knows, maybe your name is going to be in the history books. Your kids are going to be studying about you. This is an opportunity to make a change in the world. And if you want to make a change, what is the best way then to start by doing it in your own home?
All right. Thank you. And to just move away from all of that, not really, but so Betty, how has your services benefited the community?
My service has benefited the community as far as educating. I love to educate my clients that come in, let them know exactly how it is. And if I could possibly, instill in them how the US runs, as far as if I get a person that's coming in and they're coming into my office to try to file asylum, but they've been in all these other countries, I try to educate them to let them know this is how the law works. And this is the reason why your asylum may not be successful. So I try to educate them. I try to give them examples and try to get them to understand, because their first thing mindset if they're coming into the office is that, oh, I need to file asylum, send an asylum off for me. It doesn't work that way. I like to educate them to let them know what are they getting themselves into, what is it that they're pleading and stating to immigration. And when they get in front of a judge, when you're asked these questions, is this a question that's going to say that you're being persecuted, that you're running away from something? Not because you just said that, oh, there was no money, or I couldn't make a living in Haiti. It's not what asylum is. So I try to educate them so they can understand exactly what they're getting themselves into, because only thing they know is that someone told them to take this road, come to America and say, hey, I need to file asylum. So I like to educate my clients exactly what they're getting themselves into, what type of application they're applying, what they can face tomorrow, not only to just take an application, fill out the forms and just send it off, and then tomorrow when they're in hot water or need to have anything explained to immigration later in the date, that they don't find themselves stuck, that they knew exactly what information is being informed to immigration. So my biggest thing is educating my clients, navigating them through the whole process and path. I like to hold my clients' hands, especially when it comes down for citizenship. I guide them through the whole process, help them change their social security, help them apply for voters registration, help them update their passport. And I like to educate them so that they know exactly these steps and process that they're going through. Some clients that come in newly from Haiti, help them learn how to get their identification here, their Florida ID or driver license, how to apply for a social security card, how to apply for food stamp if they're eligible for it. So I like to, assist them and educate them on the pathway of, becoming legally here in the United States.
All right. Thank you. There's another question from the audience, and I'm going to direct this one to Patricia. Is education really the key to freedom and success if there are no jobs to offer?
I'm guessing they're referring to Haiti, because it really depends on where you are.
To Haiti.
Because the big difference here is with an education you do have access.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in Haiti, even the education that you're getting may not even help you open doors. So that's a really tough question to answer. Haiti we just need so much help to get people not only the proper education, but real opportunities. Just like we were saying before, I think Melissa was saying, to give people a chance at a real life, and that's part of it.
And to add on to what you're saying is, no matter what, I think for me, education will open doors. I'm always gonna encourage somebody to go to college. Right. I know it may not be the answer for everybody, but education is key. So you don't have to get I don't want to put it that way, but it doesn't have to be a formal education, but educating yourself will help open doors for sure. And when it to the point of success, for example, well, in Haiti it's hard because from the things, from what we've been seeing, and it's not the first time I've heard a story similar to this. the amount of money that our Haitian brothers and sisters are spending to go to these different countries to get a better life. If there was an opportunity in Haiti, I'm pretty sure that they would stay, and that money they would be able to open a business. Some people told me that they spent $15,000 to get, and this was just going to Brazil. They spent $15,000. They sold everything that they had, and when they got to Brazil, what they weren't doing in Haiti, they were doing in Brazil. They were farming land, and this also happened in Chile. They were farming land, but they weren't doing it in Haiti, but they were making money doing it in another country. So yeah, education is definitely one thing, but the opportunity needs to be there as well.
I just want to add to that, if I may.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if this person is asking this question from Haiti, but let me just open this browser. Education doesn't necessarily mean you get a degree in something. Now, you can educate yourself in something that you didn't even go to school for, if we're being honest. Because again, a lot of things I know about the law, I didn't learn it in school. I had to go online, I had to do the research, watch a lot of videos. Now, is education the key when there are no job offers? Where do the job offers come from? They come from people, entrepreneurs. And let me tell you, if you are in Haiti, and this is why I wanted to touch based on that question, and you have a business idea, now educate yourself on how you can find investors. It might be hard, again, because of the condition of the country, but what if you can start a company and you can open job opportunities to at least 10 people, let's say 10 people. There goes opportunities right there. And this is one thing I want us to realize. We are looking from outside. What if we are looking inside for these resources? Because I know money is hard. I know coming up with the ideas, I know it's hard when you have so much going on. I had one of my friends, very close friend, and he started a company. We were the same age, went to high school together. And about actually 2 months ago, got into a motorcycle accident, didn't get the proper care, and he died. He died without even opening the new company that he was already working on. There are a lot of other variables, but what if 10 of us, young individuals, we decided we're going to start companies? 10 companies with 10 jobs each, that's already 100 right there. Now, there are people, they just want to go to school and get a job, which is okay because this is what you want to do. This is your passion. This is your purpose. But what if instead of, let's go out there and find it again? I know it's hard. I know it's easier said than done. And I know that there is a lot of work that we need to do for it to be available in the country. But let's start thinking of ways that we can create jobs for our own kind.
All right. Betty, there's another question from the audience. One of our audience members wants to know, what can the average citizen do to help?
To be a voice, to be a leader in the Haitian community, to speak, educate. My thing is educate because Haitians need it a lot. Just like she said that, it's not education going to school. It's about educating yourself. So then that way, more. You may not know it all, but at least get some information from somebody else. So I think for citizens is to be out there in the community, to be leaders, open up organizations, volunteer. As much as we can do to help our fellow Haitians educate themselves for tomorrow, for a better future, and to have a more understanding at life. Living here and also in Haiti.
All right. Thank you. Well, wrapping things up, I want you guys to let us know how can the audience, how can people out there partner with you guys to make a difference. I want to start with Melissa.
Well, first, let me just put it out there. My name on every social media is Melissa Lucien. If anybody would like to reach out, talk about a project or program you have going on and that I can help, please do let me know. This is my biggest thing. I consider myself as like a bridge in finding ways to help people with whatever project they have going on. As far as myself, my motto is if I can impact one young individual, one person in the youth, and they can impact two people, and then these two can impact two, then the work continues to grow. This is what I do. I work in youth empowerment and youth mentoring. So if anybody have a program of that sort and you need my assistance or you want to work with me on whatever project it is, I am available and I am willing to work. I do humanitarian aid. I do all kind of different work you can think of, literally, as long as it's for my people. And I have the skills, I have the resources, I have the connect. It's all yours.
And so the second part of that question is, how can we get in touch with you? Is your website the best way?
My Instagram page will be the best way, Melissa Lucien, because I always keep in touch with that. This is how a lot of people get in touch with me. It's exactly how you see it on the screen. My website, you can also go to on my website. This is where I have my blog, and I just actually published a book. I forgot to mention that. I did publish a book, so you can always make sure you get my book. And yeah, we can definitely be in touch, and I'm willing to help whoever it is out there is trying to connect or help the Haitian community.
All right. And Betty, same question. How can we partner with you to make a difference? And what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes, the best way to get in contact with me is through my Instagram page as well. My Instagram page is Immigration Chick, where I post news about immigration. I make it fun. I try to entertain. Anything I can do to pull in anyone to ask me questions and to also, find their way to educate themselves, so then that way they can get more information. I give them resources. As we all know, I am an immigration specialist. I'm not an attorney. So if I do get a case that is, legally binding and I can't assist my client, I do give them referrals. So I make sure that I get in contact with the attorney and make sure that that person is going to be the right person fit to take care of their needs.
All right. Thank you very much. And Attorney Patricia.
So you guys can definitely find me on social media at Elizee Law Firm on Facebook or Instagram. When it comes to making a difference, the way that I give back is I take on pro bono cases, but I take them on because they're funneled to me through the American Immigration Lawyers Association. I try to have at least 1 or 2 kids that I help per year. So a child that is physically here in the U.S. has been abandoned, abused, and neglected by their parents. I help them with their immigration file and their family law file. And or I participate in citizenship drives or where we go in the community with the Haitian Lawyers Association. So if anyone wants to volunteer in one of those events or is interested in knowing more about that, they can reach out to me. And I'll be happy to speak to anyone who needs more information or just wants to connect.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies. You all have been great professionals, and I know you are great professionals. Thank you for your time. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Personally learned a lot from our conversation tonight, and I will also look forward to getting in touch with you guys and to, if there's any way myself I can help as well, to whatever type of support that I can bring, so that let me know. I will do my best, because one thing I want to see is the betterment of our country, betterment of our people, and not only Haitian people but all people, so we can thrive together. So once again, I want to thank you guys for accepting the invitation. I want to thank Chocoela, Book It, and Nap, of course. And I want to thank each and every one of you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.